Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host Pinky, and today we're going to talk about Married at First Sight. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned. But before we get started, I would like for everyone to check out my website, lavidarosastyle.com, where you can find cute accessories like the ones I'm wearing right now. Check those out. Like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this video. Okay, y'all, so I had to get a little dolled up because I was just inspired by decision day and, you know, how everybody was looking so cute in their decision day outfits. So I was like, let me get all dressed up. For those who say they can't hear things, I got a microphone. Hopefully this helped y'all out, because some people say they turn their earphones all the way up and they still can't hear. Hi, this is especially for you guys. So obviously today is decision day. This is the day everybody was waiting for. We were so excited for this day to finally come. They did a lot of filler, a lot of montages that were very unnecessary, especially if you sat there and watched the whole season. Most of the season was filler, so we didn't need all of that extra filler on this last episode. But other than that, I was very entertained and very like even though I pretty much predicted everything that would happen, I was still very much so invested, you know, in what was going on. So I'm gonna start with Amani and Woody. Now, I know I said that the filler was so unnecessary, but I can't even lie, y'all. When I was watching Amani and Woody's montage, I literally shed a tear. That was like, the way they speak about each other, the way they feel about each other is like palpable through the screen. Like, you can tell like they have a genuine love for one another. And I feel like this is like Pastor Cal alluded to this like being the best case scenario when they are looking for matches. You know what I'm saying? Like, they really did click in a way that, I mean, I've seen other couples that were great matches, but I feel like Woody and Amani have to be at least top 3 matches, seriously, because they clicked at the altar. I feel like I feel like it really was low-key love at first sight. I mean, Amani, I feel like she held back a lot, but if she were to like really had like gone full force the way Woody did, love at first sight. And it's like such a beautiful love story to witness. First of all, let's get into Amani's decision day outfit. She was looking good. Okay, hair was done, dress was cute, face was beat. Like, I was so here for it. She was looking gorgeous. She was finna show Woody, this is what you finna work with for the rest of your life. I'm like, okay, Amani. I wasn't mad. Woody was clean. Who had any doubt that Woody would be clean? Like, Woody had on the loudest silver sneakers he could find, a blinged out pinky ring. I mean, the hair was a little bit but other than that, both of them were looking amazing. They asked them about love, and Woody said, you know, he really didn't know what love was. He looked at love as being like a person, but he said love is security, routines, consistency. The experts were really excited that he did grasp on to, you know, that is what love is. It's not like bunnies and rainbows all the time. It's literally, you know, choosing each other every day. And I heard someone else say on one of their reviews, decision day is literally every day. So I think he really did grasp the concept of what love is. And, you know, Amani showed that to him, and I just thought that was so cute. Amani said she realized that you could actually love someone unconditionally and somebody could love you. Like, she said she definitely has unconditional love for her family, but to actually find that in a spouse, she never thought that could exist, and she found it with Woody, and I was on the verge of tears. Yeah, that's the point where Dr. Viviana broke down into tears. I'm like, I know, Dr. Viviana, we all feeling the same way. And then they asked, you know, how did love change you? And Woody said he never genuinely thought he would have love, but Amani, you know, showed him that he can have love. And he got choked up. It was like, Woody, why are you trying so hard to make me cry? I'm not about to cry now, but that's how I was feeling when I was watching it. He got so choked up, she had to come over and like hold his hand and touch his leg, like, I love you too, boy. she said it opened her eyes and, you know, to different things, and now she feels like she can do anything with Woody's love. Then we got down to the decision. Obviously, Woody wanted to stay married. He said it would hurt his feelings, and, you know, he would really be broken if Amani were to say no. Here go Amani ruining the moment by playing. I mean, I understand pulling Woody's leg. Like, she does that all the time. This is like a consistent thing she does. Like, whenever Woody like puts himself out there and like expresses his love, it's like she has to, like, I don't know, poke at him a little bit. And a lot of people from my last live said that's not a good thing to do, and they didn't like the fact that she does that. And I was thinking, well, maybe she's trying to keep him on her toes, but now I'm thinking maybe it's like a defense mechanism, possibly. I don't know, but I definitely, you know, I mean, it wasn't a terrible thing to do. I'm not trying to make it seem like it just ruined the moment, because I feel like we know they love each other, but it was just like, girl, can you just give him, like, can you just let him have this one, like, just straight up yes forever, Woody? I just want you over and over and over, you know, as my husband. Just fully give him everything. It just felt like she just had to, like, pull his leg one last time. I feel like if this show doesn't have another successful match ever, I feel like Woody and Amani made it worth it. Like, as long as they stay together, as long as, you know, they met each other and, you know, are together forever, it's worth it. I really feel that way, because I mean, you know, I really am not too hopeful for the rest. But they made watching this season worth it. They just did. So let's move on to Amelia and Bennett. Bennett was very Bennett with his outfit. It looked like it all came from a thrift store, and that's no shade to thrift stores, because this is from a thrift store. Like, most of my closet is from a thrift store, but it just looked like every article of clothing came from a thrift store and he just threw it on. Like, there was no concept of cohesiveness whatsoever. And for once, Amelia, she wasn't dressed so outlandishly as usual. Usually she dresses very similar to him, but she actually just put on a cute little romper and, you know, had on her little boots. I was like, okay, you look kind of cute. When the experts asked them about their relationship and how, you know, quarantine affected them, she said she was happy to be quarantined with someone she liked to be around, and she, you know, really appreciated his perspective through such a difficult time, and he feels safe with her. And in that moment, she was like, you don't think I'm dangerous? I feel like Amelia probably be like dropping little like Easter egg hints for people that we don't understand what's going on. Like, after that last bomb she dropped in the last episode, I'm like taking what she says a little bit too seriously, maybe. I don't know, because I'm just like, girl, I don't know how serious you are about Bennett, but Bennett is all in, okay? So they asked them what their biggest challenge was, and obviously it's the move. As far as, you know, them being committed to one another, Amelia said they're gonna have to leave like not too long after taping. So that led me to believe, okay, Bennett has to be all in. I mean, I'm sure his clothes are packed. I'm sure y'all stuff is in the car already. Like, there wasn't too much suspense. I thought maybe he might have been rethinking a little bit, but when he came out and showed what his big reveal was, his big surprise was, everybody was a little nervous. Like, Bennett, are you unbuttoning your pants? Like, what's going on here? Like, brace yourself. And Bennett had got a whole tattoo of Amelia's initials. Really, she kept saying on his butt, but it's really like on his hip, like right next to his butt. And I'm just like, look, we already know what his answer finna be. If he committed this much to get a tattoo, a very poorly drawn tattoo at that. The tattoo, I feel like I could have like drawn a tattoo very similar, if not an exact replica to that tattoo. I mean, I think we knew after that both of them were going to say yes. I feel like he is completely devoted to Amelia. I kind of am a little bit disappointed what she said didn't come up at all, but in the scheme of things, I guess it really doesn't matter, because he was going to say yes no matter what. He was going to say yes no matter what. I just really hope she's not playing with his emotions. I hope Bennett is just not somebody she's just feeling for now, and her feelings are going to wane because she is bored with him. I just, I hope they got the real deal. I hope she really did just try out for a reality show because she wanted to be on TV, and it turned out she actually found real love. I really hope that's the case, but I would just be a little skeptical. I ain't gonna lie. But Bennett, he ain't no skepticism in it. Okay? His name is Bennett and he is in it. That was so corny, y'all, but let me have that. It's crazy because if she had not said what she said last week, I would have been so happy for them. I would have low-key felt the same way that I feel about Amani and Woody, but there's like an asterisk next to Bennett and Amelia now for me. I mean, and it may work in the long run, but I want to see how it is, like 5-10 years from now. Where are they? Let's move on to Karen and Miles. So I did watch a little bit of their montage, and I'm going to quote the wise Woody when he was talking to Miles, and after 4 months, they still had, consummated their marriage. And Woody was just like, look, if you're going to try it all. If you're going to try it all. And I totally agree with Woody. Like, there's no way I would want to marry a stranger and we go through this entire process and we didn't try it all. I mean, we're both grown, we're married. I don't care if I was paired up with Henry and we barely talk to each other. If you're going to try it all. Okay? I feel like, so Miles was looking good in his little suit or whatever. Karen was looking really cute in her dress too. I liked her hair, I liked her makeup. She was looking very pretty. But the only thing about Karen, like, sometimes I wish she would just loosen up. Like, she's a beautiful girl, but it just feels like she's just so, like let your shoulders fall. Like, breathe. It just feels like she's constantly holding her breath and just, it's okay, calm down, it will be all right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know this is kind of like a tense situation, but she always is very, and maybe it's because of the cameras. That could be it, because apparently it just seems like she's a different person off camera, according to Miles. And then, okay, so when they started talking to them about their relationship, Karen said it's been good, and I don't know, it felt like it wasn't. I feel like they were giving the pageant answers, personally. Like, even though some people are saying, they're getting a bad edit, or Karen's getting a bad edit, and they're not showing like the fact that they are getting along with one another, and they're having better interactions than we're seeing. Miles still feels very strongly that Karen is not able to give him what he needs emotionally and physically. Like, that's been his main complaint, and a very serious one, because he was very he even told her, I would say no if today was decision day. So clearly that's something very serious. And two, even Woody said he claims that things are going good, but from his perspective it doesn't seem like it is. So for some reason maybe Miles really does feel like things are going good. I don't know how you can feel that way if you don't think she really wants to hug or touch you, but maybe there are some things we're not seeing. There's a disconnect somewhere, and it just feels like they give pageant answers when it's something totally different. And I'm not against like admitting that I'm wrong, because I was wrong about Iris and their situation. So if I'm wrong, I'll come back and admit that I'm wrong and I'll apologize or whatever. But I'm not seeing the love. I'm not seeing the chemistry at all. Like, even when they're just standing next to each other, it's like a distance there. Anyway, and then Miles said the pandemic was good for them, no cameras, and they gave them a stronger bond. But I thought that's when y'all grew apart the most. I thought that's when y'all were having the most problems, was during the pandemic. So That's what I'm talking about. It seems like they're giving pageant answers. But then he got a little real. He said he feels his needs are not being met physically or emotionally, and she may not have the capacity to give him that. And she feels that, you know, if she has no emotion for him, then, you know, she's not going to be able to kiss him and touch him and hold him and stuff. And I'm just like, well, if you feel no emotion, if you, after 4 months or 2 months even, if you didn't feel any sort of anything in that period of time, why would you want to stay? So even though Miles had a really legitimate reason to say no, he ended up saying yes. A lot of people have been calling Miles a simp or whatever, and I feel like there's a fine line between, you know, being patient and being respectful and, you know, being a quote unquote simp. And I just feel like he kind of rolled over into simp territory for me. Because I'm just like, okay, I hope if y'all stay together, I hope you actually demand. And what I mean by demand, like, I'm not going to stick around here much longer if I don't get my needs met. So if he doesn't demand that from Karen, if she doesn't give it to him, I hope he just doesn't stick around just to stick around. And Karen said his heart allowed her to feel more comfortable. She feels like the marriage just started a few weeks ago. And I'm just like, okay, girl, so if you're feeling more comfortable emotionally, does that mean, are you going to at least give him some kisses without him having to ask? At least give him some hugs, cuddle him in the bed, something. Dr. Pepper pointed out the fact that, you know, they might not have been together had, you know, decision day been on its correct day. I mean, they got an extra 2 months to spend together. And if she says she feels like the marriage just started a couple of weeks ago, maybe so, y'all. I don't know how to feel. I'm kind of a little bit indifferent at this point, because if y'all choose to be together, what opinion am I supposed to have anymore? Am I supposed to feel bad for you, Miles, that she doesn't kiss you and hug you? No, you chose to be with her. If she doesn't give you what you need, this is what you chose. So okay, so let's get into Henry and Christina. So when they first sit down with the experts, Christina says she wished they would have clicked better romantically, and she just never felt like he wanted her. He felt like she always had excuses, and, you know, he pulled her card again, and this time he pulled it in front of everybody. And I'm low-key glad Henry caught her off guard. I'm like, even though last week I said he was being fake or whatever, him doing that made for good TV. So for my own entertainment, I was happy that he waited until he got in front of the experts to tell them exactly what she had done. He told them all about the accusation that he had had an affair with a man. Apparently he had told her, you know, when they first got together, you know, sometimes people do think that I'm gay, and I'm thinking that's because he has a lot of female friends and he's quiet and shy, and sometimes, you know, even when the show first started, a lot of people thought Henry was gay, and I never got that vibe from him. You know, a lot of times when you're quiet and shy, people can misread you because they just, you know, you're not really showing a lot of your personality. So I feel like they make a lot of assumptions. So he has gotten that before, and she said she questioned it, but she was trying to really downplay what she was doing to Henry. Henry put it out there that she threatened to hold it over his head, and obviously she denied that, but he was very adamant that, you know, you were holding this over my head and you low-key was blackmailing me. And he said he asked to see the text messages, but her excuse was that her texts delete every 30 days. It's been 30 days since you got the message. Like, how much time has passed? I would need to know the timeline to believe that, and I just doubt it. She looked like a con artist that got caught up in their lie. She really did. She looked like, I did not expect this, and she was, yeah, girl, he pulled your card in front of everybody. He pulled your card once again. You weren't expecting it. I think she was, and I really do believe she was trying to blackmail him, because when he accused her of being dishonest before, she flipped out. She started crying. She ran off. She, you know, had a very explosive reaction. And so I do think she made this up, or even if somebody really did send her that text message, I think she blew this up on purpose in order to, you know, hold something over his head. But like somebody said in the comments, how you gonna hold something over his head and you don't even have the proof? You don't even have the text message. That's why don't nobody believe you, girl. Really, I feel like Christina did all of this because Henry has never really been attracted to her, and I think she felt some type of way because of that, and she wanted to blame it on the fact that he was gay, or she just wanted to, you know, she wanted the problem to not be her. And girl, it's not, it is kind of you because you have a nasty attitude, but you know, sometimes people just don't click. She completely denied everything. She denied holding it over his head, and Henry was just like, that is what you said and that is how you said it. And she was just like, I don't remember, I don't think that's not how I meant things, and if you took it that way then I apologize. But she was doing all that because she had got caught in front of the experts, and the experts, you know, was looking at her crazy, so she was trying to save face. But my thing is, girl, you should have been apologized to Henry, because you said on the last episode that, you know, you act a fool sometimes, and you didn't even apologize. So I feel like Henry been deserved an apology, even if you claim you don't think what you did was wrong. And then Henry turned around and apologized basically for not being attracted to her, and I thought that wasn't fair. Like, Dr. Viviana like kind of put it out there, like, have y'all apologized to each other? What does Henry need to apologize for again? Now, if anything, Henry should have apologized for being mute the first like month of their marriage. Like, he can apologize for that, but not being attracted to her, that's not cool. Like, I mean, why should he have to apologize for that, or showing that he's attracted to her when he's not? Why should he? Why? That's unfair. Clearly, he wanted a divorce. Like, after that bombshell that he dropped on the whole decision day, of course he doesn't want to still be married to her. Why would he? So clearly she had no choice but to say no as well. But she said she still wanted to be friends. It's like, girl, don't nobody want to be friends with you. Don't nobody want to be friends with you after that? You're capable of blackmailing me and you think I want to be your friend? I bet Henry wish he never met you. I bet you it's that bad. And he wants to get this annulment ASAP. And you ain't getting nothing in this divorce because y'all did not even consummate the marriage. Y'all was staying in 2 separate rooms half the time. So she better not be trying to get no money out of Henry. Y'all know I think Christina's full of it. I think she's a little off her rocker. Henry's got a little something with him too. But I think if you were to match Christina up with anybody, I think you would have a very similar outcome. I think she's just very entitled. She's rude. Anyway, so let's move on to Brett and Olivia. We already knew what their outcome was going to be, but it's crazy. They were like one of the most interesting sit downs that I saw, because this is the most clarity that we've ever gotten from them as a couple. And they were aggravating to watch. And I think it's because they didn't communicate clearly. And I think if the experts were to have intervened or been able to intervene the way they have in the past, like more often, like talk to people more often, have a sit down and have these arguments with someone present that can help y'all communicate better, I do think they probably would have said yes on decision day. Now, do I think they would have been good for each other in the long run? Not necessarily, because at the end of the day, Brett wants kids, Olivia doesn't. She says she does, but she don't. You can tell. And even Brett has said that, you know, her actions to him have showed him that she doesn't want kids. So at the end of the day, they both should be happy, especially Olivia should be happy that this didn't work out, because y'all wasn't gonna work out in the long run. And it's better for you to be able to move on now than move on like 5-10 years from now and have to start over. So I just don't understand where all her animosity is coming from. I really don't. But we'll get into it. Coming into this, Brett feels like no matter what he says, she has a narrative on him, and he felt like a placeholder, not necessarily, you know, someone that she actually cared about. He just felt like anybody could have filled his place. He felt generic, and he felt like she just liked the idea of having a husband and not necessarily having him as a husband. And I feel like that says a lot, and that is literally how Olivia has acted throughout this whole experiment. I really do feel like she treated him that way, because that's the way it came off. They asked, well, you know, how do you feel about seeing each other? He said he was happy to see her. She said it was good to see him, but she almost looked like she wanted to cry. She looked really solemn. It's like she had a wall up. Even on the way in, you could see it on her face, like she was just like not trying to show her true emotions, but we could see it anyway. She still feels like he puts on for the camera. She says she doesn't know him. He says she doesn't know him because she didn't try to actually spend time with him and, you know, put in the effort it takes to get to know somebody. And I'm glad he was real about that, because we saw plenty of footage where Brett was alone and where Brett was trying to, you know, I don't know, where she was just distant from him, and it seemed like he wanted to be closer, but once again, she had that wall up. At this point, she's clearly still in her feelings about this whole situation, and I think it's because it just didn't go her way. I think they asked him, like, what did he do to try to, like, show her that, you know, he wanted to be in this, and he tried to cook and keep food in the house and, you know, keep the house a warm place that she wanted to come back to. She was just like, anybody can get food, anybody can do this, anybody can do that. Dr. Pepper can get us some food and bring it to the house. And it's like, well, girl, what did you do? Because it sounded like he did a lot more than what you did. I wish they would have threw it back to her, like, well, okay, what did you do? Because it sounds like even though you're demeaning what he did and you're not appreciative of what he did, and that's a big part of the problem. It's like you don't even care about any of the actions he took to try to, you know, make you feel at home, whether they worked for you or not. He put in that effort, but what did you do? You didn't even appreciate the things that he did. And I feel like I wish somebody would have pointed that out to her. If the roles were reversed and a woman were to say, you know, I've cooked for you, I kept food in the house, I took care of the household for you, so when you came home you felt good. If a man were to turn around and say, who cares, anybody could have done that, we would have been up in arms. Everybody in this comment section would have been up in arms. So Pastor Cal said, you know, it seems like she's resentful and he can't say anything right. You know, he can't say anything to change your mind. He can't say anything, you know, you're not hearing him. It's never going to be good enough. You know what I'm saying? And once again, like, she just took no accountability. It just felt like it was all on Brett. Like, what did you do? What did you do? Okay, now what did you do? Anytime he would, like, hit the ball back to her, she would drop it. Like, you didn't even do anything. Why are you putting it all on me? Like, I was the main issue. So Pastor Cal was like, clearly you needed something specific, but you didn't tell him what it was. And, you know, how is he supposed to give you what you need if you don't tell him? That's like, you know, giving somebody a test and you didn't even teach them anything that's going to be on the test. Like, you were testing this man. You didn't even, you know, give him what he needed to succeed. So he turned around and was vulnerable with her. He said he wasn't trying to be insincere. And he's sorry if it came off that way, but he just didn't feel safe enough to trust her to, I guess, give his all, you know, or show him all of himself to her. And, you know, she felt like he wasn't interested in her as a person. And it was like, well, you know, I could see that, but he was trying and you weren't, like, acknowledging it. And also she was closed off intimately, and she admitted to that she could have done better with that. But it's like she kind of made that like a blip, like, yeah, I could have done better with that, but you did this and you did this. It's like, no, girl, you need to put a little bit more emphasis on something that you could have done as well. It's like, if I was Brett, why am I here? Like, so you can blame everything on me? I shouldn't even showed up to decision day. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she wasn't gonna take any sort of accountability for the marriage going wrong, what's the point? And so she says she's not really like a touchy person, and he was like, well, I just wanted you to touch me at all. And I was like, is that Karen? is that Karen I hear? So she says she wasn't really touchy-feely because he would turn her off by being sarcastic or, you know, checking himself out in the mirror, and she felt like she was degrading herself by like cuddling with him anyway, even though he was turning her off. But she had never expressed that to him. He went ahead and apologized for not communicating with her clearly, and she didn't even apologize. I'm just like, girl, you just said, well, you didn't communicate clearly either. You told him that you were turned off by him, but you never actually told him in the moment. You never actually told him what your turnoffs were. So how's he supposed to know? So then she starts to cry, and she said she feels like she doesn't know him at all, and he wants to still be cool, but she's over it. And, you know, honestly, you know, you can't always end relationships with friendship. That's not always going to happen, because a lot of times people get together and they just weren't compatible, period. They might be compatible on paper, but they're just not compatible in person. Like, you know, sometimes, you know, your personality just rubs people the wrong way, and it just is what it is. You can't always be friends. That's what Brett is going to have to accept. You know what I'm saying? You apologize for what you did wrong. Olivia really didn't, and I thought that was rude. But I don't know. There's no way they could be friends too, because she just has a whole attitude about the situation. She's like really butthurt about this, and it's like, girl, if you were turned off by him the whole time, why are you so upset? She acted like she wasn't attracted to him or something. So if that's the case, why are you so mad? Like, I really don't get it. Like I said, I feel like she was just more upset that he left her, and this whole thing is like a failure in her eyes. Like, she signed up for this experiment, and it's like, girl, you knew it was a possibility that it wasn't gonna work out. You grown. Why are you so like visibly angry? It was very immature. That's the word I'm looking for. The way she handled this situation was so immature, playing the blame game and putting everything on Brett. And we're going to talk about, you know, them all together. I feel like she exhibited more of this behavior, but I'm just like, you're just being very catty, you're being immature, and we'll talk about it when we get to it. Let's just go ahead and get to them all together, which was a cringe fest. Why do y'all bring them together after the decision day? When did this become a thing? Because I don't remember this on like the older seasons. I don't remember y'all doing this, but the past few seasons, y'all bring the people together. I'm sure to drum up more drama, especially after season 9 when everybody confronted Matt, which was an awesome moment, I have to admit. But it's just so cringy to bring these people back together when they've decided not to be married. Let them go their separate ways. And now we got to see these people happy they made it, and we over here, we just said no to each other, but we still got to stand here together. Like, and then y'all asking everybody, what did y'all say? Y'all know y'all already know the answer to these questions. Y'all gonna text each other in the group chat. Y'all already know. Even if one person found out, they told everybody else. Y'all know. Obviously, Woody and Amani are still together, and they said their next move is looking for a house. And I think they're going to be moving. I think that's what they said. They're going to be moving out of New Orleans, so we'll see. And they said they're going to wait 2.5 years before they have a baby and a puppy, because he said it's a combo. We're not doing a puppy without a baby. So a deal's a deal. So then Olivia, it was funny because Olivia was like, well, okay, so do we have any surprises over at that table? And that was the table where Henry and Christina, Miles and Karen were. And I'm just like, now, you know, ain't no surprise babies or nothing like that over at that table. Come on. You already know. And then Amelia let everybody know that Bennett got a tattoo of her initials on her butt. And then she was like, how are you going to get a job? I was like, Amelia, she be throwing shade. I don't care what nobody says. She be throwing a little shade in there. She do. Because when she was like, well, how are you going to get a job? It's on his butt. They ain't going to see no tattoo on his butt. And then she said the closer the tattoo to like holes in your body, the crazier the person. Then Amani was like, well, how does it feel to be with a crazy person? And then she was like, oh, he's not crazy. It's not that close. It's like, well, why did you say that? it was just awkward. So they turned around and asked Brett and Olivia what they got out of this experience. And Olivia was like, well, you know, obviously I didn't get a husband, but I got, you know, friends and people I can hang out with, and, you know, I'll cherish this experience because of, you know, everybody else. And Brett was just like, you know, he stepped out of his comfort zone, and, you know, he went on this spiel that I didn't really pay attention to be honest. And Olivia was like, well, this is the most you've ever expressed yourself. You know, very passive aggressive, very passive aggressive. And then so he got passive aggressive real back. Well, like, well, if you would have asked some questions, you might want to know me a little bit better. He didn't say all that, but that's what he was trying to say. And then here go Amani minding everybody else's business. I'm gonna need for Amani to stay out of other people's relationships. Mind what you and Woody got. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have something beautiful. Why do you always have to be the one to jump in and be like, well, what got questions? I feel like she also be boosting Olivia up to feel the way that she feels when she only has one side of the story. She asked Brett, like, you know, what questions would she need to ask? He was like, the good ones. Back up. And I'm sorry, I'm Brett in this situation. I'm the type of person, if I feel you trying to dip in my business a little bit too much, I'm gonna give you something real short and real sarcastic as well to make you back up. And basically in her confessional, she was like, he can't take responsibility, you know, for, you know, what he did in the marriage. And I'm just like, you can't say that, because you are only going by what Olivia said. He actually really did take responsibility for what he did wrong, and he apologized for it. That's more than what Olivia did. She was just basically saying, well, you know, that's why people don't like Brett, because of how he reacted to people. I'm like, he reacted to you like that because you all up in the Kool-Aid and don't know the flavor. You know, that's why he reacted to you like that. And this is why I say I think Amani is boosting Olivia up, because she was really too much, you know, into that. That wasn't none of your business. And then they gave Olivia the confidence to say, you know, that's why we're not married now. And I'm like, if I was Brett, I would be so happy to leave her. I would be so ecstatic. I would be like, thank you. I'm so happy I left this situation. I would be jumping for joy. Because now every time we turn around, because you already know, if they were to stay together, Amani would be right there in their relationship, dipping in and asking questions. And okay, Olivia should reel her friend in. So after the awkward meeting that they had all together, they all get together and they decorate Amelia and Bennett's car, because they're about to go. They're about to catch a plane to Virginia, like right after. And so, you know, they decorate their car with streamers and, you know, putting the little cans on the back of the car, you know, like I guess what they did back in the day when people got married. And, you know, they're writing all this cute stuff on there. You know, Amelia and Bennett loved it. Like, they, you know, obviously they love stuff like that. They really appreciative, like low-key getting emotional, like they were so into it. But if it were me, I'd be like, who's gonna clean all of this off my car? Because I didn't sign up for that. But it was cute. And they drove off into the sunset. And that's that. So that's it for my review, you guys. Let me know how you feel down below. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Did your predictions come true about who said yes and who said no? Also, are you excited about the reunion next week? I know I am. I want y'all to stay tuned. So yeah, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.